Welcome to the deep dive. Picture this. A big sports arena, totally buzzing. You've got the roar of the crowd, amazing athletes out there, just the whole spectacle right. But have you ever really stopped to think about the economic engine humming underneath it all? I mean, yeah, there are tickets, sponsorships, but what about the lights? The actual lights making it all visible. Ever wonder about the huge market powering those incredibly bright lights, the ones letting you see every detail, whether you're way up in the nosebleeds or, watching at home?
That's exactly what we're diving into today, the global sports lighting market. We'll unpack its size a few years back in 2021, look at projections for 2025, and then cast our eyes further out, all the way to 2033. And we've got the numbers to back it up. Detailed compound annual growth rate, CAGR. That's basically the average yearly growth, shows that steady momentum. Our goal here is really to pull out the key insights from some pretty comprehensive market research, give you those aha moments.
Exactly. Our mission is to give you a quick but still thorough look at this industry. Surprisingly big, want to reveal the numbers, sure, but also the story behind why stadiums glow the way they do all over the world. Okay, let's get into it. So let's start big picture, global overview. Back in 2021, this sports lighting market, it was already pulling in, what, over $3.5 billion? Significant money.
Absolutely. 3,582.19 million, to be precise, already substantial. But here's where it gets interesting. By 2025, just next year, it's expected to climb near $5 billion. $4,855.5 million is the projection.
Okay, nearly $5 billion. That's fast growth.
It is. But look further out to 2033. The forecast shows it almost doubling again from that 2025 figure. We're talking close to $9 billion, $8,920.83 million, actually. That works out to a really solid 7.9% compound annual growth rate overall.
Oh, 7.9% year on year on average. That's some serious sustained momentum, especially for lighting, something you might just, take for granted.
Right. And what's really fascinating is how consistent that looks across the whole period. It doesn't seem like a short-term bump from one big event or something. When you see projections nearly tripling the 2021 value by 2033, it signals something more fundamental.
Like what? What's driving that fundamental shift?
Well, think about the massive shift to LED lighting globally. Much more efficient, better quality light. Plus, more major sporting events happening worldwide needing top-tier lighting. And even, smart stadium tech integrating lighting with other systems for better fan experiences and running the place more efficiently. It's a global upgrade, really.
That makes sense, a fundamental upgrade.
Right.
Okay, so that global picture sets the stage. Now let's dive into the regions. Are there any particular areas showing maybe surprising growth or leading the way with new trends?
Definitely. Each region has its own story, but yeah, some stand out. Let's start with North America. In 2021, it was around $813 million, the projection. Almost $2 billion by 2033. That's growing at a pretty solid 7.6% CAGR.
Okay, nearly doubling too. And within North America, I'm guessing the U.S. is the big player.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. dominates in sheer size. It goes from about $660 million in 2021 to over $1.5 billion projected for 2033. But what's really interesting? Look at Canada and Mexico.
Yeah, what's happening there?
Canada's set for a real surge, more than doubling from around $85 million to nearly $240 million. That's at 8.4% CAGR, strong. And Mexico, even more impressive, almost 9.7% growth annually. It could hit over $207 million by 2033.
Wow, 9.7% for Mexico. That is a standout growth rate. Suggests a lot of investment happening across the whole continent, not just the U.S.
Exactly. It's not just one country pulling all the weight.
Okay, that's definitely an aha moment for North America. Let's pivot across the Atlantic. Europe, known for its deep sporting roots. What's the picture there? Similar trends?
Europe's interesting. It shows a really diverse growth landscape. The total market was about $648 million in 2021. It's projected to hit almost $870 million by 2025, and then around $1.57 billion by 2033. The overall CAGR is similar to North America, about 7.6%.
Okay, and who are the big players within Europe? UK, Germany?
Yeah, the UK and Germany are definitely significant in size, showing solid growth. The UK, for example, is on track to more than double, hitting over $317 million by 2033. Germany's looking at maybe $367 million. But what catches my eye is the growth in some, let's say, unexpected places. Luxembourg, for one, shows a healthy 7.9% CAGR. And maybe even more telling, the rest of Europe category that lumps together many smaller nations has one of the strongest growth rates in the region, over 9.6% CAGR.
9.6% for the rest of Europe. That is intriguing. What does that suggest?
It really points towards broad-based investment, doesn't it? Widespread upgrades in infrastructure, maybe not just for the huge international events, but perhaps smaller regional ones too. It's not just concentrated in the biggest economies.
Fascinating. Okay, let's keep moving. Asia Pacific, you mentioned it's the largest market overall.
By revenue, yes, easily the largest. It was already near $1.6 billion back in 2021, projected to rise past $2.1 billion by 2025, and by 2033, a massive $3.8 billion. It's expanding at a strong 7.5% CAGR.
3.8 billion. That scale is huge. What's driving that in Asia Pacific?
Well, you've got huge expanding economies and a massive growing interest in sports across the region. China leads the pack, projected to hit over $1.3 billion by 2033. Japan's next, looking at over $728 million. But India is really showing incredible momentum.
India, how so?
It's surging from around $166 million in 2021 to a projected $441 million by 2033. That's an 8.4% CAGR. You have to think, huge population, sports are professionalizing rapidly there, lots of new infrastructure projects, it all adds up. And other key players like South Korea, Australia, Singapore, they're also showing healthy, steady growth. It's a really dynamic region for this market.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, from the giant Asia Pacific market, let's swing over to South America. What are we seeing there?
South America started at about $168 million in 2021. Projections take it over $223 million by 2025. And then looking out to 2033, it's forecast near $400 million. The growth rate is a solid 7.3% CAGR.
Okay, steady growth. Any standouts within the region? Brazil, I assume.
Brazil, naturally, leads as the largest economy. It's projected to reach over $165 million by 2033. Argentina is showing solid growth, too. But Colombia actually stands out with a slightly higher growth rate, a robust 7.9% CAGR.
Oh, interesting. Colombia at 7.9%.
Yeah, it's growing from around $17 million to over $43 million in that time frame. That higher rate might signal some targeted investments, maybe new facilities, perhaps linked to specific national sports or getting ready for regional competitions.
Got it. Makes sense. All right, next up, the Middle East. The numbers here look strong. About $147 million in 2021, heading towards $207 million by 2025, and then a projected $400 million by 2033. That's an 8.6% CAGR. Pretty robust.
The Middle East is definitely showing some of the strongest regional growth rates. Yeah, a lot of that seems fueled by, ambitious national development plans and hosting major international sports events.
Right, we've seen a lot of that investment announced.
Exactly. Saudi Arabia is key, growing from about $56 million to nearly $150 million, projected by 2033. Turkey and Egypt also show strong growth, but the UAE is particularly dynamic. Its CAGR is high, over 9.2%. It could grow from around $28 million to over $83 million. Qatar's growth is impressive too. Again, just like in Europe, that rest of Middle East category shows the highest growth in the region, over 9.4% CAGR.
Over 9.4% for the rest of the Middle East. So similar pattern, broad investment.
It really points to huge spending on state-of-the-art facilities, pretty much across the board there, driven by diversifying economies and wanting that global visibility.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, finally, let's talk about Africa. The numbers here were flagged as showing some of the fastest growth globally. Is that right?
Absolutely. Astonishingly fast, actually. It was valued around $211 million in 2021, projected to hit over $318 million by 2025. But the 2033 forecast is where it really jumps, over $763 million. That reflects a massive 11.5% CAGR overall for the region.
11.5%. That is astonishing growth.
It really is. This region seems to be where a lot of future momentum is building. Look at Nigeria, for instance. Projected to grow from around $64 million to over $240 million by 2033. That's almost an 11.9% CAGR.
Incredible.
But South Africa actually leads the pack in growth rate. It started around $87 million in 2021, but it's projected to hit an impressive $334 million by 2033. That's the highest CAGR we've seen, anywhere over 12.1%.
12% CAGR for South Africa.
And the rest of Africa category isn't far behind either, with a robust 10.3% CAGR. It paints a really vivid picture, doesn't it? Rapid infrastructure development, increasing urbanization, a growing interest in organized sports across the whole continent, all driving demand for modern lighting.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what does this actually mean for you listening? We've covered a lot of ground seeing this picture of really healthy, sometimes astounding, growth globally for sports lighting. It's clearly more than just making stadiums brighter for TV, right?
Yeah.
It's a big expanding market tied to fundamental shifts.
Yeah, connecting it all, the big picture is this market isn't just growing, It's on track to nearly triple its 2021 value by 2033, tripling in about 12 years. So that raises a pretty interesting question for you to think about when you consider this kind of sustained worldwide growth. What factors do you think will be most critical going forward? Is it the tech innovation, the economic investments we talked about, or just the sheer expansion of global sports culture? What will really drive it?
It really does highlight how even markets that seem, niche or straightforward on the surface like lighting can hold some significant economic weight and pretty fascinating growth stories. Definitely gives you something to mull over when you think about the future of sports infrastructure, doesn't it? And just to be clear, all the insights and figures we shared in this deep dive today come directly from cognitive market research.